Welcome to In Conversation With, and today's guest is Georgie Bailey, who is LS leading lady and founder of the GMTC Theatre Company. Welcome, Georgie.
Hello.
Hello, finally we've got you on.
I know, right?
It takes some organising in our busy lockdown schedules.
Absolutely.
We're off to rehearsals and award ceremonies and after parties.
My diary's just so full.
Mine's depressingly empty. I'm not used to having a diary with nothing booked in.
I'm joking, by the way. I have nothing.
Wow. What has happened? What is happening? We normally know what shows we're doing for the next three shows of the next year, but at the minute we're like up in the air. No one knows what's next.
And that's really sad as well, because like the next one that we actually have booked, I am so excited for.
Do you want to tell the listeners what that is?
9 to 5.
Can you sing it? You've got a great voice. 5, 6, 7, 8. 5. Do. Oh, one day we will be working 9 to 5 in rehearsals. Them long Sunday rehearsals where you just so exhausted. I just can't wait for.
I know, isn't it weird though? Like when you're doing them, you're like, you get to the end of the day, you're like, I'm absolutely knackered. Like, it's just such a long day. But now you don't want to take that for granted anymore, do you?
No, I don't think we will. It's funny actually. I was talking to Rich and I was saying, like, obviously, as you know, LS has been going 12 years. I believe this is our 13th that we're going into. So hopefully it's lucky for us and not unlucky.
Yeah.
But yeah. I certainly were getting to the end of them 12 years and sort of losing the fire a little bit and the creativity. But one thing this lockdown's done is just made me think, right, I can't wait to start again.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring it on.
Topped up my creativity.
Yeah, absolutely. Bring on the long rehearsals, the long late nights on your dress runs. Like, I want to do it all again.
I know I can't wait for the stress to begin. I'm like, I want to feel stressed. I want to feel under-rehearsed. I want
you yelling at us.
No. I think I've mellowed too much. I've literally become like, I don't know, like a...
Hey, I definitely think I've become softer through all this.
Yeah, then we'll get back in rehearsal and we'll all be screaming at each other. You're in the wrong place! We'll see. It may change. It may totally change. This is what I said to Rich. It may totally change how we work and how... Yeah. I wonder if when we're in rehearsals, we'll sort of go back to just being how it was, or will we always be aware of personal space more and...
I think I will always be aware of it. I was thinking about this in, like with the dance classes and stuff where we'd have boxes and it spreads your dancers out. And I feel like it's a good thing in a way for dancers because we need to be aware of spatial awareness and having that own little box, nobody dancing in my little corner. And I think that's really important in dance. And I think, like I was thinking with my dance school and musical theatre company, that it's probably a blessing because we're used to dancing on top of each other. And I think we've learned to space out a lot more.
Yeah, and I think, and that's, if we can take that from it, then surely that's something we've learned in lockdown. At least that's one thing we've learned, as well as making banana bread.
Yeah, absolutely.
I never want to see another banana loaf in my life. All people are doing, let's bake. No, we're not baking in another lockdown. I've had enough.
I can't do any more baking now. I've done loads.
No, we're done. But it'll be interesting to see how we get back and how we will all work together again. And it certainly made me think now. One thing it has made me think, I don't know if our listeners know, but certainly during lockdown or certainly during the tiers, LS was one of the few companies in the country, I suppose, to manage to do a show.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I was very fortunate to be part of one of them, almost two.
Oh yeah, what? Do you want to tell us why you didn't make the first one?
Because we ended up with COVID in our house. And we got the results back from my mum's test on the day of the show. And so straight away we were all put into isolation and you just had to rearrange it all, didn't you?
That was fun, yeah. Because the minute you take one person out of our team, it ripples. You can tell that person's missing. So obviously Chris was heavily involved in the tech. You were one of the leads. So when...
that whole day of Chris FaceTiming our other member, Jess, I was feeling so stressed
Oh my
because
God.
they just couldn't get it all working, could they? And obviously, when you're there, you know exactly what you've got to do. And Chris would be back and forth trying to sort out all the tech. And you know what he's like. You know he's going to get it done. But they spent like 3 hours on FaceTime trying to talk Jess through what to do. And oh my God, I was getting so worked up for them.
Oh no, that day was like a pressure cooker. I think because we'd just come out of all being in lockdown, we were excited
Yeah.
about doing Rock the West End, which was the one night that we were doing, and then all of a sudden this disaster happened. But the famous words, the show did go on, and thanks to Chris's sort of virtual help with Jess, and then bless Jess stepping up and taking the brunt of my fury.
No, honestly, God, I feel like everyone just pulled together, and that's what LS does every single time. If somebody needs help, they're there for them, whether it's in person or whether it's FaceTime like we had to do. And that's what's really nice about it. Everyone pulls together and gets involved.
Yeah, and I think that's what happened with them 2 shows that we did manage to get in. Like we said, we did Rock the West End, and then we managed to get in the Greatest Halloween Show, which was our original piece about Jack the Ripper, which again was so well received. I just felt the audience wanted it. I felt the cast needed it. So at least we got a few shows in.
Yeah, and it was nice with that one to have more than one performance as well.
Yeah, certainly. I mean, we haven't done a week's run for a long time.
I think it's going to actually exhaust me the first time we do that. I just think it's going to hit me like a ton of bricks.
I know. I think it's going to be
it's like a whole year, isn't it?
Yeah. Do you know what I learned as well? I don't know if you thought about it from a performance point of view, but certainly watching them one-nighters with smaller casts, but still creating the same level of sound, if not better, and the same quality. I don't know if we will ever go back to having the large cast that we used to. I don't think we need to.
No, absolutely.
There might be some horrified listeners there thinking, no, I'm never going to be in a show again. But it certainly opens your eyes as a producer, because you think, actually, I can do that show with 15 people instead of 45.
Yeah, definitely.
Different ways of working. Maybe we probably wouldn't have realised that unless we were forced into it.
Maybe it's another thing we've learned from lockdown.
That's it. Maybe this entire podcast is lessons you've learned. Maybe we change the title. So obviously I know you, and majority of the LS people know you. So anyone who doesn't, just tell us who Georgie Bailey is.
I am from Chesterfield. I have always been in Chesterfield, grew up in Chesterfield. How many times can I say Chesterfield? And basically I have done musical theatre and dance from a very young age. Obviously started off in dance like most kids do in their first ballet classes, and I go to Wallace Dance Academy, and I've been there since I was 2, and I've now worked my way through every grade, and I've become a teacher. So I teach at Wallace Dance Academy, and on top of that I set up my own business. So with a little bit of encouragement from my friends, I set up GMTC, which is Georgie's Musical Theatre Company. And I've been running that now for, I think it's coming up 6 years now. And so basically, as a kid, I was brutally bullied at school constantly, right from primary school up until about year 10 at secondary school. And my aim in this company was to give kids confidence. And from what I hear from my parents and from my students themselves, that's exactly what they get from it, and feel really proud that that's happened. So yeah, that's pretty much me. And obviously I do all my hobbies as well. So I still do musicals, obviously, with yourselves. I've done musicals with Chesterfield Operatic Society as well, which obviously is where I first met you.
It is. You walked into a rehearsal room that you know very well, and a rehearsal room that I didn't know that well, when I was getting there to direct their production of, can I say their award-winning production of
Yeah.
NSO?
Yes, it did win awards, didn't it?
And we assembled a stellar cast, which you led in the role of Tracy Turnblad.
Yeah, that was literally like my dream come true. I really didn't think I was going to get it as well.
Did you not?
No, not at all.
I remember that first rehearsal that I came over from. This was before I even lived in Chesterfield, before I met Rich. So I was living in Manchester and just freelancing. And I remember being in that a bit of a meet and greet was or something, wasn't it? Meet the production team or something. And I remember seeing you sat at the back beaming.
I'm not surprised.
And I thought, okay, it was interesting. And then, I got the role, but deservingly so. There was no one who could have bet you in that. And thankfully for us, you came back and played it again for us when LSD Productions produced it.
I mean, there's getting your dream role once, but then getting it twice. That's just incredible.
What better to do it even better the second time round? That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
Boom! What a cast.
Absolutely loved it. Loved it.
And sort of since coming on board with LS, you have sort of become one of our sort of leading ladies now.
Yeah. It's easy. I spent a lot of my life when I was doing like shows when I was younger, and when I was about 16, I think I joined a local youth theatre group and never really got any massive parts, and started just assuming to myself that I just wasn't that good enough. I'm suited for the chorus and minor roles. And then when I joined Operatics, first role I got given after 2 weeks of being there was Maria in The Sound of Music, and I was like, oh, okay. And then it simmered down again, and then straight back into being Tracy in Hairspray. I was just absolutely gobsmacked, because the thing is as well, I'm like 5'7", 5'8", and Tracy's obviously meant to be short. So instantly I was like, well, I'm not going to get it then, am I?
You know what? In the casting of that, your height never factored in that to me. I've never thought about that. And you're meant to be small, but it never entered my head when I was casting that.
Yeah. So that instantly was in my head, and I think it's because like there's been open auditions in London before for Tracy, and they've said like it's a certain height, and I'm like, oh, well, I can't do that then.
I think that's one thing we do at LS though. We don't always cast to type. We sometimes push the boundaries and cast on talent or someone who can bring someone different to the role. And I think that came into fruition when we cast Sister Act with you.
I was just about to say that, yeah, because you would expect, obviously, with Sister Act being Dolores, to be like Whoopi Goldberg, to be a black actress who is glamorous, good looking, slim, and all those things, and I'm not any of those.
I don't think put yourself down with that. I think, but I know what you're saying. But I think there is.
You know what I'm like.
I know. Well, we slap that out of you, LS. We don't know that by now. But no, I think you're right. There's a vision of how she should be played, but that's purely because Whoopi Goldberg originated that role. But as I said to you before, the role was originally written for Bette Midler and offered to Bette Midler, who again is very different to Whoopi. So we offered you the role of Dolores because we thought, one, you obviously can sing, but you're also a great character actress. And to me, I couldn't get Bette Midler out of my mind, and I think she's phenomenal, and I think you've got real elements of what she can do, you can do.
Yeah.
So we cast it the way we cast it. And again, there was anyone else in the running, because you know what I'm like for casting. I got my mind on someone, and
you know what made me laugh though? I didn't believe you for a very long time.
It was an April Fool, even though it was in June.
Yeah. Every time you said it, I was like, I'm not taking that until we're in rehearsal and it's actually happening.
No, that was a great role for you. And another one. I
enjoyed it. It was a challenge, because like I've said, I'm not confident in my own body, and I found it very, very challenging to be this confident and loud person, not only loud in volume but loud in character and the way she dresses, and that's just not me. And that bit was the challenge. And I remember every single show that we did of Sister Act, I had that massive quick change out of all the glamorous stuff to take the hairpiece off, get the heels off, and get into the nun habit. And you know, most people would get in that nun habit and go, oh, I hate this, I don't like how I look. I got in that nun habit and went, oh, thank God, I don't have to suck it in anymore or anything like that. And I felt every single show, I got to that point in the show and I just relaxed and I enjoyed it more. And then obviously at the end I have to get back into the glamour, and I'm like, oh, it's just for the last few minutes I can do this.
It's so interesting to hear that, because I never knew that. But you're right, as performers, people think you're confident all the time and you're a diva and you've got a big ego, but I think behind each and every one of us, and I certainly can say this for the majority of us, we've all got insecurities and
Yeah.
we worry that we're not good enough. And I still go into it thinking, God, as a producer director, I should be on it like 120% every second. But you're human. It's not possible.
No.
I'm going to forget lines. I'm going to forget entries because I have enough to think about. And you as performers, you're only human.
Yeah, absolutely. And it's the same thing with like, I think you find most performers have anxiety as well.
Yeah, that is a massive factor
Which is crazy because you're going on stage in front of a load of people and you're showing how confident you are, and then you come off stage and you're a completely different person, and people almost don't believe that someone like you could suffer with something like anxiety. And I know I was really suffering when I first started with you, and I came for, what did I come for? What was the church called? We did the performance.
Oh yeah, we did Raise Your Voice in the church.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the first thing I actually did with LS after Hairspray. And I remember coming, I just sat at the back, so petrified because I was really suffering bad then. And I just kept quiet. And then you asked me to do the female solo in Seasons of Love, and my face just burnt up, and I was like, really? Oh my God, he's gonna think that like I've come in and taken over all these roles and everyone's gonna be looking at me really dodgy, and you know what I mean? But it was nothing like that. And that's what I love. Like, all these people that I looked at and thought they're judging me, I sat back down and went, no, they're not. Because all those people are now my really good friends. And I think, like I say, that's just an anxiety thing, a paranoid sort of thought that I had when I first started. But it's crazy to think that anybody who performs and has that confidence can also think like that.
Yeah, and I think that's what's good about LS as well. People come in with a perception, but when they say this LS family, there is a real feel to that, because I do genuinely believe that we probably all piss each other off, or we get annoyed at each other that you don't get the roles you want. But at the end of the day, I just think LS is so unique in the fact that it's just a really supportive and safe environment to play, to have fun with your friends and play roles that you may never get cast in the West End, and enjoy it. And yeah, you're right. People aren't judging because it's so, like, amateur theatre is so political, and there's such a hierarchy there. And I don't believe there is with LS. I think LS Theatre Productions are so unique in that sense.
Yeah, and everyone's really, really supportive of each other. Like, I could have just sung the worst thing I've ever done in my life, and someone would say, it was really good. Not that they're lying to you, it's just because in your eyes as a performer, it's never good enough. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And they'll tell you, like, I know someone who will be very honest with you.
Yeah. But I also think as well that, like you said, what we do is so unique, and it's just a supportive environment.
Yeah, it is. It really is. And yeah, it's done me the world of good. It's given me a little bit more confidence in myself that I can do these sort of things, especially things like Dolores and Sister Act. Like, I think that really did give me a confidence boost.
Yeah, it was a role that I stand by now. I think you were made to play, and I'm glad that you agreed to do it for us, because, again, I think out of the 12 years, that is probably one of my top 5 shows.
Yeah.
I think we've done some amazing shows over the 12 years, but there's been a handful that have just had some magic about them.
And you know what I really loved about that show is all those women who came and joined us to be nuns.
Yeah, you think about the nun ensemble was made up mostly of people with very little stage experience and of the age that nuns would be.
Yeah.
We weren't just casting loads of young performers and making them look older with a bit of eye pencil.
No, not at all. And each and every single one of them just gave all their energy and all their effort into rehearsals. They even did extra rehearsals, didn't they? We ended up throwing an extra one on to go over all the routines. And even while they were worrying about it, they were still supporting me and saying to me, "You're doing really good." And I'm like, "No, you're doing really good."
You carried that show, but they certainly brought the heart to the show. Having them there made it all the more believable, and just took it to another level, I think. And again, looking back, God, we worked them older ladies like they were West End showgirls. Yeah. They were no let up. They were choreographed to the T. They were meant to sing harmonies that were above and beyond what most societies would have given.
It was incredible.
And they stepped it up. But I suppose here's to many more LS shows once we can get back together. And
Yeah.
like I said, we've got 9 to 5 in the pipeline, Kinky Boots, and then who knows what next. But
Yeah.
hopefully we can
Let's
all
get this jab.
Well, listen, all these people with conspiracy theories and anti-masks and all that, I'm sorry, I've no time for them people. Like,
No.
wear a mask, it doesn't matter. Jab me up, I don't care. As long as I can get back in rehearsals and start doing what we love again. You're probably the
Like I said at
same.
the sorry, I want to get my normal life back and not take it for granted anymore.
That's it. Yeah, everything we took for granted. Maybe this was a lesson from the universe that we needed to learn, and maybe
Absolutely.
it might reset. Hopefully, it's reset us all a little bit, and we don't fall back into bad habits and that. But
Yeah.
I think you're probably the same as me as well. When you've got a creative mind, it is torture when you can't create.
Yeah. It's very hard as well. Like, obviously, with my classes at the moment, we're doing everything on Zoom. And a fine example of Zoom going wrong I had last night, where everyone on my screen just froze, but they could still see me. And then the next minute, I know I'm doing a little bit of the dance, and I'm quite close to this table, and this glass jar has just eked its way off the table and dropped and smashed on the floor. And all these things that you don't have to deal with when you're at a studio. And it's so hard over Zoom. And I have a lot of respect for any kids going through this at the moment, because I don't think I'd have managed that at this age.
No, the young performers and that have had to really adjust, haven't they?
Yeah.
But I suppose it'll make us all appreciate even more when we do get back in them classes and workshops and rehearsals. And I just keep thinking of that first night that we get that applause at the end, what that's going to feel like.
I know. I think there's going to be a lot of tears.
Oh, there was a ping there.
That would be my other half sending me a message, and it's coming through on my laptop.
It's not a cheeky message.
It's not. It just, yay, and I don't even know what that's replied to.
Read him out and shame him. Let's mention it because Chris is also a big part of LS. He's your fiancé who you met at LS.
Yeah, so that's a really positive thing to have come out of LS, really. We first met in Greece. Well, actually, in fairness, I remember seeing Chris on the first rehearsal I went to for that Raise Your Voice concert at the church.
He did the lights, didn't he?
Well, he was meant to be in it to start with, and I believe he had a wedding or something he realised he had to go to, so he couldn't actually do it. But I remember hearing him sing, and I was going, oh, he's good. Yeah, nice. Never thought anything of it. And then even after Greece, for a long time after Greece, we were chatting as friends. We really got on throughout, especially the show week. I always find that in show weeks, you always get closer to people, don't you? And you make new friendships. And so we were just chatting after, and a few months later, we ended up together and never looked back. You set up a lot of relationships, though, don't you?
I feel like I'm Cilla Black, like the Barnsley version of Cilla Black.
You really do, yeah.
Yeah, amazing, really. Yeah, we've sort of had quite a few couples come out the woodwork or creep out the woodwork from LS.
Yeah, including yourself.
Including myself, yes. I've now been lumbered with Rich now for 3 years.
It's really strange as well, because obviously, like, I was really good friends with Rich way before any of this.
You've known Rich from being like a little dancer, haven't you, both of you?
Yeah, from about, I think it was about 8 or 9. It wasn't in my class, but we ended up, I remember we used to do acro together, and he'll remember this absolutely firmly. We had to do a James Bond dance, and because me and Rich were the only lefties, we always had to dance it together, and we just laugh all the way through it, because neither of us are really like proper acro people. So I think it kind of stopped at that grade, and we just gave up from there.
No, that's really weird, isn't it? How the world works. The fact that you knew Rich before I knew Rich, but then you came on board to LS, and now Rich is the LS choreographer, and it all works in mysterious ways. It's kind of you found where you're meant to be in life, and the people you're meant to be around. But so you mentioned GMTC. Make sure I get that right, and I'm not advertising some like motorway recovery vehicle. And how can people get involved? If there's any young performers out there or parents with kids who are just itching to sing, dance and act, how can they get involved with you?
So we're on Facebook and Instagram. So if you just search for Georgie's Musical Theatre Company, we're on there, and just drop a message. We have classes for kids from age 3, so it's the minis class, right up to sort of like 18. 18 is probably the top. The oldest we have at the moment is, I think, 16. So I've not worked on like any adult groups yet, so anything over 18. Not sure if I'm ready for that yet, but that's the age I'm working with currently. I also do singing lessons privately as well. Obviously, at the moment, everything's very different, and we are doing everything online. So I do a lot of FaceTime calls at the moment for singing lessons, and those ones I do from age 6 up to another little ping. Sorry, age 6 up to adult. So I've got some people from LS actually who come for singing lessons.
Oh, brilliant. So when they finally come back to rehearsals, they'll be sounding amazing.
Absolutely.
What they say, you can polish a turd and you can roll it in glitter. That's a
Oh,
big thing from these people.
yeah.
What's your aspirations now? Obviously, you've got your theatre company, you're still involved with LS, you still do shows as your hobby, as you call it. What more do you want to achieve?
I want to grow my business, and that's really hard at the moment because we're like limited to groups of 15. So I have everything prepared to grow my businesses, because I used to have like 2 groups, and now I've had to split them all because I can only have 15 in a bubble, and so now I've got 4 groups. So as soon as COVID does one and we all get jabbed, I can then grow those classes, and you know what I mean, and then maybe one day when I'm confident enough to start my adult class, I think that's the main thing I want to be doing. I want to just grow this musical theatre company and eventually have people teaching for me as well, because at the moment I do all of the teaching and I have people who help me, and I'd love to give them their own classes, do you know what I mean, so that they can then be taking on extra classes for me, and because I can't do it all myself, and I need to learn that one day this business will grow to the point where I can't teach every class. I'm going to have a few classes going at the same time.
Yeah.
And that's hard to let go of something that's your baby.
Yeah, I find that way less. Sometimes you have to hand the reins to other people who probably can do things better than you and let them manage that area of it, because like LS, like your school's growing, LS is growing and getting bigger all the time. So you have to. So it's difficult. It's your baby.
I think the thing I always worry about as well is when it comes to having a family, I'm going to have to give my company to somebody to keep it going. So yeah, I need to learn that I just can't do all this on my own. So yeah.
Exciting time. So yeah, if anyone is interested, check Georgie's Musical Theatre School out on social media, GMTC. Drop her a message, and I'm sure she'll be able to get your young performers involved.
Absolutely.
So before we sort of wrap this up, if I could wave my magic producer's wand and said to you, if I could pick a show that is your dream show to do and cast you in whatever role you want, what would it be?
Oh my God, that's hard. You see, you've already waved your magic wand twice for me.
Third time lucky. What's your third? When I've got to retire you.
Okay. Okay, I'd probably really like to do We Will Rock You, which I don't think you're a fan of, are you?
No, I do. I like it.
Do you?
I think it's all right, yeah.
I think when I was younger, I always wanted to play Scaramouche, but as I've got older, I really could see myself doing Killer Queen.
Great role, yeah.
I love that. So that has always been something I'd really like to do. Other than that, I mean, this is where you're probably going to tell me off again. I've always wanted to play Christine in Phantom of the Opera, but I can't because I'm not that typical small, slender girl. You know what I mean? It just doesn't work. And obviously she has to be a ballet dancer, which yes, I do ballet dancing, but it's not perceived in the public to have a larger ballet dancer, is it? You know what I mean?
No, I think you're right in saying that. I think there is casting types that we all, there's certainly roles that we all like to play, and sometimes you have to be realistic and think that's kind of not me.
This is it. And that is a part that I could sing all the time. I love being a soprano singer, but in realistic terms, I wouldn't ever be able to play that role. But it's one that I
the way and less work, and certainly with cabarets and one-nighters and stuff, there's many opportunities to come where you could sing sections of that show.
This is it. And I have done that before. I've done a little gig with a few of us from Mellis before, and me and Jess both sang Christine, while Chris and Chris Webster sang Phantom, and that was my little taste of doing it, you know what I mean? And so you get opportunities to do it at some point.
No. Well, let's just see what this year brings. We've got shows waiting in the wings. We just need the green light to from Boris that we can start again and start creating some magic.
I keep seeing like memories on my Facebook of shows that I've been to see, and like not last year, obviously, year before, just over a year now, we went to see Six, and we were sat in that small little theatre all cramped together with no idea what was to come to the world. And I just think back on things like that and think, I just want to do that again.
I know, just to be sat in a theatre to feel the energy from a show, innit? It's just, again, something that we'll never take for granted again.
No.
I would do a shout out for that amazing Chinese buffet that we all went to, but the pictures don't look like sandpaper shavings.
That was good. That was good.
But yeah, that was a good fun. But yeah, I think, like you said, there'll be times when we can all go and see shows again together and put shows on ourselves. But certainly this year it will happen. It's just a matter of just waiting patiently.
I'm positive it's going to happen this year. I don't think it'll be quite the same straight away. But I do think we'll have something this year.
But we have a formula that works. We know how to social distance on stage. We know how to make our audiences feel safe. So like I said, when we get that nod, we'll recreate what we did at the end of last year with the one-nighters, and we'll start off building again.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Well, I think we'll end it there. That was lovely.
That's really good. Yeah, thank you very much for having me.
Yeah, all right. Can you tell Chris to stop texting you now?
I know, rude.
Not his podcast. Back off, Chris. Rich has just arrived home from work, so do you want to come and say a little quick hello to Georgie, Rich? He's been demoted into the bay window. I made him stand over there where he's quiet.
Oh, Rich.
Come and say hello.
No.
Did you hear my little story about our acro?
No, I've not been back that long. I've not said that.
Yeah,
I'll leave you to listen to it.
Like your Bond acro.
Oh, yeah. What song was it to?
James Bond.
Well, it's not going to be to Spy if it's a Bond acro. It's a bit obvious.
No, but I say that because I hear the Bond bit, but we used to do a different song, like a different song to acro each time. It was like a big power ballad or something.
Yes.
Well, we're going to leave it there.
Lovely. Thank you so much, guys.
Oh, Rich doesn't realise we were live there. I'm glad you didn't swear.
I thought this was afterwards.
No, we're still live.
Okay.
No, we're still going.
Okay.
By the way, this is Rich, our LS choreographer, just gate crashing Georgie's podcast, but we thought we'd let him in. Give him a moment.
Allowed.
I was going to say, glad he didn't swear, but this is Rich, who is literally the love child of Mary Poppins and Julie Andrews, so he'd never swear anyway.
So true.
Well, Georgie, good luck with building back the school once we get out of this lockdown.
Thank you.
And as ever, LS will support that.
Yeah.
We will see you in the rehearsal room soon, in fine voice.
Yeah.
Knowing all your lines like you normally know. Although I'm not sure which show that will be for yet.
No, me neither.
But this has been In Conversation with Georgie Bailey. Thank you very much, Georgie.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.